The invention of the camera evolved over centuries from the camera obscura, a device dating back to ancient times that projected an image onto a surface, to the sophisticated digital cameras of today. 1. Camera obscura, 4th century BCE, a 16th century. The concept of the camera obscura, which means dark chamber in Latin, is based on a natural optical phenomenon. Philosophers like Aristotle and Mosey mentioned these principles in their work. During the Renaissance, artists used the camera obscura for perspective drawings by projecting scenes onto a flat surface. 2. First photograph, 1820s. The first successful photograph was taken by Nick Nips in the 1820s using a sliding wooden box camera he used by bitumen of Judea on a pewter plate that hardened in response to light exposure. The process, called heliography, required 8 hours of light exposure to create an image but lacked permanence. 3. Daguerreotype, 1837. Louis Daguerre, working with Nips's early findings, discovered a method of developing images with shorter exposure times that also prevented the image from disappearing. This process, the daguerreotype, was introduced to the public in 1839 and was the first practical and successful method of photography. 4. Calotype, 1840. William Henry Fox Talbot invented the calotype process, which produced a negative image on paper coated with silver iodide. This negative could then be used to make multiple positive prints. The calotype was less sharp than the daguerreotype, but allowed for copies. 5. Collodion process, 1851. Frederick Skid Archer introduced the wet plate collodion process, which produced a more detailed negative image on a glass plate, leading to more precise and reproducible photographs. This significantly reduced exposure times and cost. 6. Dry plate photography, 1871. Richard Leach Maddox proposed using a dry gelatin emulsion instead of the wet collodion method. This allowed for more convenient storage and transport of photographic plates. 7. Roll film, 1888. George Eastman, founder of Kodak, revolutionized photography by introducing a camera preloaded with a roll of flexible film. This enabled amateurs to take photographs, greatly popularizing photography. 8.35 mm film, 1913 to 1925. Oscar Barnick, an engineer at Leica, created the Leica, which was the prototype for the first mass-produced 35 mm camera. This format became standard for both still photography and motion pictures. 9. Color photography, 1935 to 1942. Although experiments with color photography occurred early, it wasn't until Kodak introduced Kodachrome in 1935 and Agfa's Agfacolor in 1936 that color film became widely available. These films used a subtractive color method to create a color image. 10. Digital cameras, 1975 present. The first digital camera was developed by Steve Sasson at Eastman Kodak in 1975. Since then, digital technology has advanced rapidly.